So you beat Portland last night, 111-106, in a game where Joker had 41, Jamal Murray had 19 of his 24 in the fourth quarter. I want to ask you about both those guys in a moment, but Michael, as a team, you had a single turnover for the entire game. How pleased were you with that stat? What's it say about your team?
Yeah, that was an amazing stat. Obviously, I believe, Jim, the NBA started keeping turnovers as a stat around 1984. And one turnover set an NBA record. I think there were 5 or 6 teams that had 2 turnovers in a game. So for us to have 25 assists, only 1 turnover, that was a big part of us getting that division win last night, an important win for us after a tough 4-game road trip. So guys understood the importance of valuing the ball. That has been an issue for us as of late, and last night rather, we did it at a historical level, so that was great to see.
No doubt. Michael Malone joining us. So Joker had 23 in the first half, another 12 more in the third. When he's rolling like that, I understand you have a job to do. I understand you're still coaching, but as somebody who loves the game, do you ever catch yourself just kind of sitting back and watching him work?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think growing up in this game, being around the NBA for a long time through my father, and now my 20 years in the league, you have to enjoy the moments and you have to enjoy greatness. And obviously I've been really privileged to have the opportunity to coach some great players, LeBron James, Chris Paul, Steph Curry, so on and so forth. And Nikola is just amazing. What he's done this season overall, putting this team on his back after the great run we had in the bubble last season has been remarkable. And to your point, I love the fact that he's just being a lot more aggressive this year, looking to score. We all know he's a great passer. We all know he's a hell of a rebounder. But for us to go anywhere, Nikola's got to be that guy that carries us. And he leads the NBA with 4 40-point games this season. And last night was just another treat to watch him out there doing his thing and doing it very efficiently.
We're talking to Michael Malone. Michael, one more thing about him, and I want to talk about work ethic for a minute because I'm always fascinated by the amount of time that guys work or put in and their preparation and their process. It seems to me, I don't think people truly appreciate the amount of work he puts in or his work ethic. For those who do not get to see it in person, how would you describe the way he approaches his work, and then what's it mean to the rest of the team when your best player is modeling that level of work ethic?
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up, Jim, because I think it's not only a great point, but a really important point. Because Nikola, most of our fans see the games and that's it. They never get to peek behind the curtain to see, well, what goes on before practice, after practice? What does an off day look like for an NBA player? And then let's take it a step further in Nikola's case. Let's say after 83 days in a bubble and you're going into the shortest off season, what do those 2 months look like when you go back to your native Serbia? And I think a lot of guys in Nikola's situation would have probably come up for air, relaxed, and taken it easy for a little bit. And what I love about Nikola, and he has to get so much respect and credit for this, is that over those 2 months back home in Serbia, he never came up for air. He continued to work and stay ready and stay focused. And I think it comes down to just a commitment to himself, his commitment to his teammates and the organization. We've made a huge commitment with Nikola, and he's returned it, tenfold. And it says a lot because, we have 7 new players this year, a lot of young kids. And to your earlier point, when your best player, when your all-star starter MVP candidate is your hardest worker, that sets the tone for everybody else. And when I say this, I'm not making this up, Jim. When we do our stretching before practice, Nikola does that 100%. He doesn't skip any steps. He doesn't have any wasted reps. He does everything hard and with purpose. And you hope that example that he's setting is going to really, for R.J. Hampton, a rookie, for Zeke Naji, another rookie, that's going to say, you know what, our best player is working like that. I have to do the same. And that's a credit to Nikola, and we're lucky to have him here in Denver.
Michael Malone, my guest. I love that line, that he does everything hard and with purpose. Michael, you mentioned how important it is for him to get that team on his back. But again, he doesn't have to do it all by himself. He's got a supporting cast, and he's got another star in Jamal Murray. In fact, how much of a luxury is that? And how nice is it for you to know that you've got Jamal Murray, that he's always there and he'll step up, and you yourself do not have to push Joker too hard?
Yeah, it's been great. I think in the last 8 games, Jim, we're 5-3. And the best part about this is, I think all of our fans, a lot of people around this nation, after watching Jamal Murray in the bubble, put on a performance. And that first round against Utah was one of the best series that I've ever seen, and Jamal was a huge part of that. And earlier in the season, Jamal was somewhat up and down, and that's just the reality of it. It wasn't because he wasn't trying or didn't care, but he was just having some tough games. But the best thing about our last 8 games is, Jamal has really found his stride, his confidence. He's averaging 28 points a game in the last 8, leading us in scoring. But most importantly, Jim, he's doing it while shooting 55 from the field and 48 from 3. So those are really efficient numbers. So now we're getting back to having that two-pronged attack with two, all NBA type players in Nikola and Jamal, and then the other guys can kind of fit in. And we've done this all while having so many injuries to guys like Gary Harris, Paul Millsap, JaMychal Green, P.J. Dozier, 4 rotational players with 2 starters. So an important time for Jamal to pick it up, and he has done so at a very high level.
Nuggets head coach Michael Malone is joining us. And then one more thought about Jamal in terms of him picking it up. He had that 50-point game recently where he did not shoot a single free throw. And the story goes that you had spoken to him recently about being more aggressive and not passing up open shots. Can you share with us what was that conversation like? And then what did you make of that performance on Friday night?
Yeah, Jamal and I feel really fortunate, obviously being in this game for as long as I have been. I've learned from my father that you can know all the plays and everything else, Jim, but ultimately it always comes down to relationships. And I love the relationship that I have with both Nikola and Jamal, as well as everyone else on our team. That's what I think makes our culture really special. We're a very connected team and group. But Jamal and I can have honest conversations. And when he's not playing to the level that we need him to, he's not one that's going to, sit there and not own it. He's willing to take ownership and admit I have to play better. And part of that was, I think a lot of times Jamal was turning down open shots where everybody in our team was saying shoot the ball. He would turn that down to take a much tougher shot, or even worse, sometimes turn the ball over. And so the best part about his play as of late, the 50-point game, but even other games, 19 points in our fourth quarter last night, as you mentioned earlier, he's just looking to be a lot more aggressive, knowing that we need him and Nikola to lead us. And, being committed, being shot ready, and even if you shoot the ball and miss, it's still a good shot because now everybody on the floor knows that, okay, Jamal's ready to shoot, and now we know where we can react, hit the offensive glass, get back in transition, whatever it may be. But Jamal and I, Nikola and I, all of our guys, a lot of open and honest conversations, and I think that's critical to having a really close team.
And to have the culture that you're looking to develop, I would imagine. Michael Malone is joining us for a few more moments. Michael, what about Michael Porter Jr.? Now, he led the team in minutes last night. He had 12 points, but he led the team in rebounds and in shots contested. And then afterwards, he made the point of saying, man, I'm sick of people saying that I don't play defense. It seems to me when you look at a player like that, and he's been able to score the ball at every level that he's ever played on, then somebody might like that might say, this is who I am, this is what I do, I'm a scorer. What's it say to you that he's worked as hard as he has on the defensive end and has that attitude about defense now?
Oh, I love it, and I think it speaks to Michael growing up and maturing in front of our eyes. And I'll take you back to the bubble and a conversation I had with Michael. I say, you have a choice here because you're right. Every year of Michael's life, he's been one of the best players in the country, not in his state, not in his town, in the country. He's been a prolific scorer. That's kind of what he made his name off of, his ability to score and get buckets at a high level. Well, now he joins a team that's a pretty good basketball team, and he realizes that, the ball may not be in my hands as much as it has been elsewhere. And my challenge to him was, you got to ask yourself this question, Michael. Do you want to be a great scorer or do you want to be a great player? Because if you want to be a great player, you have to commit to doing other things than just scoring. And that requires defense. That requires defensive commitment. He's a hell of a rebounder. I mean, that's one thing he's also done at a high level ever since he's joined our team. You put him out there, he finds a way to get to the glass. So for him to only score 12 points last night and do so pretty efficiently, but lead us in rebounding, lead us in contested shots, and say after the game, Coach, man, I just wanted to help us get a win. That to me shows signs of growing up, maturing, and buying into our selfless culture. It's never about any individual. It's about us collectively trying to win as many games as we can. And, Michael has shown a lot of growth in that area.